Weapons is a film best enjoyed going into with as little information as possible. The only thing you need to know is its basic setup. It follows the aftermath of a bizarre incident that sees 17 school children from the same classroom wander off into the night at 2:17 a.m., never to be found. The main focus of the film is on the aftermath of this event within the community by examining perspectives of specific people from the town. In telling the story from multiple perspectives, director Cregger elevates the film from being a conventional mystery into something more. With a setup that feels like a Stephen King story by way of a grim fairy tale, he is clever enough to not make this another horror film that marinates in the grief and trauma that comes from such an unusual event. Rather, he explores it from a reactionary perspective. The town, unable to process the incident, looks for blame more than anything else, and the brunt of this is at the expense of the missing class's teacher, Justine, played with a wonderful nervous energy by Julia Garner. Led by the owner of a small construction company, Archer, played by a gruff yet vulnerable Josh Brolin, the community vents their anger and fuels their paranoia directly at her in a typical conservative fashion. It is the chief ingredient in what makes this an all-American nightmare, reflective of the reactionary culture that pervades the modern world. Cregger taps into this quite well and expands upon it as the story develops. An example of this can be found with some of the other characters in the film, such as police officer Paul, who is a powder keg waiting for one little thing to set him off. He has little to no accountability for his actions, waiting for someone or something else to take the blame. With the introduction of these different characters, it adds another layer to what the film is exploring. In this case, it shows how everyone looks outwards instead of inwards to try and come to terms with what has happened, and in trying to get to the heart of the mystery. It all comes to a head, though, with the introduction of an eccentric character of Gladys, who is the mysterious aunt of Alex, the only child from this class who did not disappear. Her character is the culmination of an overarching theme of American decay that is present throughout the film, with the youth being drained of hope and optimism by an older generation hell-bent on keeping a hold on their own ways of life and values. When you first watch the promotional material for the film, it is quite hard to pin down what the film is actually about. You are presented with the basic outline before being assaulted with a series of horrific and unsettling imagery. In the film itself, Cregger's approach fires on all cylinders. That does give the film an uneven pace, but one that keeps the audience on its toes. It starts with a somber and creepy atmosphere, luring the viewer into the mystery, which locks you in before broadening its palette with a fair amount of humour that alleviates the tension from some of the more terrifying moments, such as the nightmare sequence or the attack at the petrol station. It all culminates with a chaotic and highly satisfying finale, but it is also one that, once the dust settles, allows the audience to reflect upon the implication of what has happened. Weapons is a slight contradiction in how a film that focuses on perspective is more thematic than character-based in its approach. In doing so, it allows Cregger to look at a version of America that is all about the deep rot that is found when you peel back the once impervious security blankets that offer a superficial comfort. Armed with an intriguing premise that has a resolution that may divide audiences, and a great ensemble cast, it feels like Cregger is taking a shot at the term elevated horror in delivering a thoughtful but highly entertaining piece of work that continues to build his reputation as one of the must-watch filmmakers of the genre.